All right, let's talk about something that's pretty much every homeowner's worst nightmare: water damage. It's way more than just a puddle on the floor. It's a whole cascade of hidden problems that can seriously compromise your house and even your health. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on what's really going on when water gets into your home and what it actually takes to get it back out.
So let's just dive right in. You know that feeling, right? That little jolt of panic when you hear a weird dripping sound in the middle of the night, or you spot that dreaded water stain creeping across the ceiling. But what's the actual chain reaction when something common, like a pipe, finally gives way? The key thing to remember is this: it's not about the water you can see, it's all about the water you can't.
And that's where things get really serious, because the moment that leak starts, a clock starts ticking. Loudly. Within the first hour, just 60 minutes, water is already migrating. It's wicking up into drywall, soaking into subfloors. By 24 hours, especially if you're in a humid area, mold is already starting to form. And if you wait 48 hours, you're not just fighting moisture anymore. You're looking at potential structural damage and some pretty serious health risks.
But here's the thing. It's not just about how fast you act. Where you live can completely change the rules of the game. Your environment outside can basically create the perfect conditions for a disaster inside your home.
Okay, take a look at this number. 75%. In coastal spots like Dunedin, Florida, that's the average humidity all year long. So think about what that means. The air itself is already heavy with moisture. It's like an accelerant just waiting for a spark. And this, right here, is the heart of the problem. When the air is already that damp, things just don't dry out on their own. Instead, any water you introduce creates this perfect little petri dish environment where mold doesn't just grow, it absolutely explodes.
And the things that set it all off? They can be deceptively simple. We're talking about the old pipes inside your walls that have been silently corroding for decades, just waiting to fail. Or that rubber supply line on your washing machine that suddenly bursts. Even your HVAC system can be a secret culprit, leaking gallons of water in your attic, drop by drop. It's the everyday stuff that poses the biggest risk.
Okay, so the worst has happened. There's water in your house. The very next thing we have to understand is the nature of the water itself. Because believe me, not all water damage is created equal.
This quote really hammers the point home. In those high humidity places we were just talking about, that 48-hour window isn't a suggestion, it is a hard deadline. After that, you're not just dealing with a water problem anymore, you are officially dealing with a microbial growth problem.
And then there's the contamination level. You might hear professionals use a term like Category 3 water. And trust me, it's as bad as it sounds. This is not clean water from a supply line. This is a biohazard. We're talking sewage backing up into your home, or floodwater coming in from outside. It's grossly contaminated with all sorts of nasty stuff, and it is a direct threat to your health.
So, when you're faced with this ticking clock and all these hidden dangers, it can feel overwhelming. But there is a proven, systematic way to handle it. So let's walk through what the pros do. Think of it as the official restoration playbook.
It really breaks down into 3 clear phases. First is the emergency response. You have to assess the situation and get the standing water out immediately. Second, you move into the science of drying, which involves a ton of monitoring. And then the third and final step is restoration, putting everything back together to make it look like it never even happened.
Now, the most critical part of this entire process is often the one you can't even see. It has very little to do with drying the carpet you can see, and everything to do with the science of finding and zapping every last drop of hidden moisture.
And this is where the technology gets really cool. Professionals can basically see through your walls. They use thermal imaging cameras that show cold spots, which is a dead giveaway for hidden water. Then, they follow up with moisture meters to get hard data, actual numbers that tell them exactly how saturated a material is. There is zero guesswork.
And you should know, this isn't some random process somebody made up. The whole industry follows a really rigorous standard called the IICRC S500. It's the official rulebook for everything from handling contaminated water to the specific principles of drying. It's all designed to make sure the job gets done right.
So the most important takeaway here is that this takes time. You absolutely cannot rush it. Drawing the actual structure of a home isn't an overnight thing. On average, you're looking at 3 to 5 days of continuous, high-volume air movement and dehumidification just to pull that trapped moisture out of materials like drywall and wood joists.
Okay, so the equipment is gone, the house is finally quiet. What's next? Well, now you're entering the final phase, navigating the aftermath.
And that means rebuilding and, of course, dealing with insurance.
You're going to hear two words thrown around a lot: mitigation and restoration. Here's the easiest way to think about them. Mitigation is like the emergency first aid. It's all about stopping the bleeding and preventing things from getting worse. Restoration is the reconstruction. It's rebuilding what was damaged to make your home whole again. And you almost always need both.
And now for the million-dollar question. Who pays for all this? Well, your standard homeowner's insurance policy typically covers damage that is sudden and accidental, like that burst pipe or the washing machine hose letting go. What it almost never covers is gradual damage, like a slow leak behind a cabinet you ignored. And, this is critical, it does not cover rising floodwater. For that, you need a completely separate flood insurance policy. Knowing that distinction is absolutely key.
And that brings us to the final and I think most important question. After all of this, your home is dry on the surface. But is it truly restored? Because real restoration is more than just drying what you can see. It's about ensuring there's no hidden moisture, no lingering mold, and no compromised structures. It's about restoring not just your house, but your peace of mind.